But most times, if you're using 737 here, there might be failed transactions. How you now rectify that? That one said that's why I don't like using USSD. If you're logging
Mm.
into my mobile app, Nigerian banks can be very funny.
Everybody's talking about it, so I don't know what's up.
USSD code.
Ouch, Samuel. Ouch.
No, really,
USSD.
Samuel. How
Wow,
are you in
Samuel.
Nigeria
Wow.
and you don't know what's seven?
I mean, I use UBA, so
Holy shit!
Ah.
You
Wow. Were you not in Nigeria at all? Like, did you
no,
travel
no, no,
out?
no, no. Wait, hold on. UBA has its own USSD code, right?
Yes. All the
Does
banks.
anyone use UBA's USSD code on purpose?
I don't have a UBA, so I don't know. I don't have a
But
UBA.
okay, Samuel, you use
I mean,
UBA,
I
right?
do a lot of I do a lot of mobile banking. I don't I don't do numbers and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So you don't do USSD at all.
I don't do USSD at all, just mobile banking.
So if you want to send money, you just
737
log
went
into your
beyond
you just log into your
USSD.
mobile your UBA app and you send money, right? That's all.
Yeah.
All right, so that's fair. That's fair. So you represent a segment of users who generally don't care about USSD. No, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
something
yeah.
that you actually have to consider when you are developing solutions for USSD, for example, right? And
But then 737 actually was like, even when they were advertising it, it was, I did not even see it from the angle of SSD. Like, it was just, for me, that was what really brought
it was
it up
just
to life.
easy.
I've never used it.
It was like, I've never used it
Easy.
too,
I
but
don't
just the
have to
fact
log
that
into
I think it
wow,
even it's even the fastest for your money to be for them to see your money.
My money has
Yeah.
not been stolen using it though. It's just that these days I keep getting failure reasons, but
The
it's
fastest way
really
for your
easy
money
to
to be
use,
stolen.
and I'm using it for so long. I find it
Onyeka, do you
very.
know the gist of how 737 came about?
No, do you want to tell me, please?
Jesus, I won't say I have the complete gist, but this is just what I know from the time I had in fintech. Long story short, 737 was not the first of its kind.
Okay.
First Bank had initially tried to do USSD banking, but it failed, mostly because the market was not ready. And I don't know whether or not they actually did their research properly, but I don't know. And also, I don't know how they marketed it, but it just fell flat. Now, by the time 737 came about, internet banking and mobile banking had matured a bit. But
Okay.
GTBank essentially were looking for, okay, how do we increase revenue and how do we get more customers, right? Because they understood that based on market segmentation and all that, they had more customers in urban areas, right, who had GT banks. Who had GT bank accounts, but they were trying to go for the unbanked people in rural areas, people who did not have access to like mobile phones, especially
Yes,
people who didn't have
really
access to
easy.
smartphones, to make it a lot
Yes.
easier for them to send money and receive money.
Yeah.
And you can't go about Nigeria giving people, take this smartphone, install the bank app on it, and start making transactions. They had to consider the existing technology on ground and then build around it. What was the one thing that every mobile phone had
SIM
in
card.
common? SIM card, USSD. That was what everyone had in common. So why not just build a solution around that? And they were able to build a solution that allowed them to send money, to send and receive money, to buy airtime, and possibly to pay bills. I don't know if you can pay bills with 737, but those were the three things that they built their solution around. And then with the powerful magic of clever branding and marketing, boom, 737 took off.
Like, it was the marketing. It's like everything about 737 was marketing. It wasn't even about what they were doing. Like, what sold 737 for me was just the marketing, the song, the color, the
For me, it was
advertisement.
easy.
Like,
It was easy. It was very easy. Like I'd not used a mobile app in a very long time, up until recently when I started getting all these failure messages, sometime ending of last year. But for almost 2 years or more, I've been using 737. It's just easy. I'm paying for Uber. I just star 737, star one, star, put the account number, and it just goes. So I don't have energy to thinking of my PIN because I easily forget login details and stuff.
So that's it, really. That is, as far as I can tell, 737 is a solution that, in my opinion, fulfills this Venn diagram perfectly. It's a perfect mix of understanding people, of knowing what your business objectives are, and then working with the existing technology. So this sweet spot in the middle That is where design thinking is going to help you the most. So let's talk about the process. The design thinking process essentially is a 5-step process. You have empathy process step. Sorry, you have the empathy step, you have the definition step, you have the ideation step, you have the prototyping step, and you have the test step. Now, bear in mind that this process, in as much as I've listed it out like this, it is not linear in any way, because you can get back to test and still go back to empathy. You can get to ideate, figure out that you've not gotten something or something is missing, and go back to empathy. It's more cyclic than linear. All right. So let's dive into defining what each of these steps are. The first step of the process is empathy, or to empathize. And this is basically spending time to getting to know the user and understand what they want, what their needs are, and what their objectives are. This means observing and engaging with people in order to understand them on a psychological, behavioral, and on an emotional level. So how do you get to empathize? How do you get to know who your users are? And how do you get to put yourselves in the shoes of your users? You do that by speaking, having interviews with them, scheduling interview sessions with them. You sit down with them one-on-one and just basically ask them questions pertaining to the problem you're trying to solve. You can run workshops. You can do surveys. I'm pretty sure you must have come across someone just saying, oh, please, there's a product that we're trying to build. Please help us fill this survey. Something like that. Those are what surveys are. You can also do that with site visits. So that means going to where your users are, just basically sitting down with them and observing how they work. You can do that with focus groups and observational studies. Now, for the second step is the definition step. You want to define the issue based on your own user research without losing sight of the human side of your product. So I like to call this step framing the problem, because when you're able to properly frame the problem, it keeps you centered, it keeps you focused, and it helps you commit all your efforts or all your resources in solving that particular problem statement. So you don't make your company the center of it, obviously, because remember, it's about your users, it's about your customers. So as opposed to making your statement, you need to be able to frame your statement as users need to be able to send money to other users, need to be able to receive money to other users. Users need to be able to initiate a withdrawal from their app. Kind of things that when you put the user in the process of solving the problem early on, it gives you a more objective mindset in the solution that you're going to be proposing. And how do you do that? You do that using user stories, you do that using personas and user journey maps, and user stories, user personas, user journey maps, and user flows. All these are concepts, again, that Evie is going to be teaching you in the coming weeks. Now, the next step is the ideation step. And this is the part that everyone should be familiar with. This is the part where everyone comes together, and then you've done your research, you already have a clear understanding of what product you're trying to build, what the problem is, what the expected solution should be like, or the results that, let me not say results, the goals that you're trying to accomplish. So at this point, you and your team and every other person who's trying to fix the problem, this is the point where you start just shooting out solutions. Now, the entire process of shooting out solutions it's very messy, and it should be messy, because when you are in a design system, design thinking, what's called design thinking session, there is no bad solution. There are just solutions that don't solve the problem. So everyone is encouraged to just off the hat, just write whatever you think, just write whatever you think. And then through the process of elimination, you then start filtering through these available solutions that you've come up to then find a solution that is the best fit for the problem. So the next step is the prototyping stage. At this stage, you've already settled on a couple of solutions, let's say 3 solutions that you think is going to be the best fit. Now you want to be able to then transform those solutions from mere ideas to something tangible. So you have to come up with some kind of prototype. Now, the prototype is not the real actual finished product, right? It's just something that feels it's like a simulation of the finished product that you can put in the hands of people and then just try to get a feel of how they would react to the product. Have you heard of like MVPs before? So I'll just implore you that on your own, and I will actually advise that you actually on your own look into it. Minimum viable product essentially are like stripped down versions of full solutions, right? They are not things that you launch to the market, but you use MVPs to test your ideas. Like I said, MVPs, they are stripped down versions of the solution that you're proposing. You use MVPs to test your ideas, to test your solutions, to see whether people will accept those solutions, whether they work, and if there's any feedback based, and to collect feedback based on the solution that you're proposing. So I would advise that you just look into it. MVPs, minimum viable product. So the goal of this phase is to understand what components of your ideas work and which do not. In this phase, you begin to weigh the impact versus the feasibility of your ideas via feedback based on your prototypes. Now, the final stage, or is the last, not final, the testing stage, you put your prototype in front of real customers and try to verify that it achieves your goals. You ask yourself, does this solution meet your users' needs? Has it improved how they feel, think, or perform their tasks? And if it meets their needs, the next thing is basically to implement and to go to production. And if it doesn't, you take feedback from them and then you go back to ideation so that you can make it better. So that's the general crux of it. So in conclusion, the design thinking process is like a map designers can refer to when they need direction in their creativity. It shouldn't be seen as a step-by-step, as a rigid step-by-step guide, as that would imply that it is straight with a specific order of tasks needed to be carried out in. Remember, the process is not linear, it is cyclic. And because it's cyclic, it gives us the freedom to expand on our ideas, to gather information and feedback, and to validate those ideas and to put those ideas in action. So I think that's about that. Do you have any questions? Hello?
No questions from me.
No questions. So everybody understood all the concepts that,
Yes.
so if I tell you how to
have
tear out
one
a sheet of
question.
paper now, you'll be able to write.
I actually have a
Yes.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the considerations for design thinking, talked about the people you're designing for, the business objectives, and then
Mhm.
technology. So, in a case where the people I am designing for does not, that's when I actually discover their need and the solution that meets their need. If it doesn't meet the business objective, how does one balance that?
I think in that kind of situation, you have to then figure out a way to ensure that it does. But it now means that you have to come at the problem from a business perspective. And it might not necessarily be something that, like I said, it's not something that you can do alone or that you should do alone. Because you as a product designer, you are solution oriented, you're already on the side of the users. If you walk out to a biz dev and then propose your solution to a business analyst or a business developer, they can come at the problem with they can come at the problem from a different perspective. Because whilst you have a background in design and user psychology, for example, they have a background in business and they will think about solving the problem from a business perspective. So it's at that point where both of you are attacking the problem, both of you have to align. So it's that alignment that will make it work at the end of the day. Yes, Blessing, go ahead.
Okay, at the beginning, you said something about like how to solve the problem you didn't know existed. So my question is, this area, you said, okay, identify the problem or the symptom. Most of the time, that's not from the designer's perspective. It could be like from the person that is.
Yes, more often than not, it could be from the person that employs your services. But here's now the thing. When someone is hiring you, maybe it might be your employer, might be a contract thing, it's usually best practice not to just take their requirements and then just start designing, right? Yes, they will come up with your requirements, but you also have to engage them from do I say engage them from that angle? Mostly because it is possible, unless they've done all their research, they framed everything. and they've documented everything, and they're showing you, are you able to read it, and are able to say, okay, all these questions, that whatever questions I want to ask, they've already answered it because they've documented it, right? But it's possible that they may have missed something.
Okay.
It's possible that they may have missed something. And that's why it falls on you as a designer to then go back to ask these questions, to come at the problem from different perspectives. And then again, there is no such thing as having done well. You can do way too much research, but there's no such thing as doing too much excess of research.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question. Taiwo, do you have a question?
No.
All right. Any more questions?
Okay, I actually have something to ask. Do we get anything to do like throughout this? It's till Saturday before we have our next class. So do we like have anything to do?
Samuel, you precious soul. Are you looking for something to do?
Yeah.
Samuel, you're at the beginning of the class. Don't worry. There's a lot of torture down the line. You will walk. You will walk. Don't worry. This first week was just to like ease you in. Don't worry. You will walk. You think you've seen work? You have not seen anything. You will walk. All right. No, don't be scared. Look, everything we do or everything we ask you to actually work on is mostly for is to basically build you, to build your skill, to build your confidence as a designer, as a product designer. So don't worry. It's for your benefit.
Sorry. For
Yes.
example, if you like discover a problem, like I don't know, but if
No,
you
don't worry,
kind
just
of
say it out. Just say it out.
if you discover a problem and then you're trying to figure out a solution, but the solution that you've come up with is not like perfect for everybody in that situation, like everyone, I don't know.
Okay,
So
so let me try and see if I can help you articulate what you're trying to say. So let's say you have a sample size of 30 people, right? And they have a problem. Let's call that problem X, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you've sat down and you thought about this problem. You're thinking about it, racking your brain, having sleepless nights, and then you come up with a solution. Now, the problem with that solution is that solution only caters to 30% of your sample size. 30% of 30 is what? You're like 9 people, right?
Yeah, something like that. So what
Very
do you
good.
do?
Then you build your solution. You build your no, chill. It's actually a valid question. Now, how I would probably approach it would be this: build your solution for 9 people first.
Okay.
Build your solution for 9 people first. Now, remember, it's an iterative process, right? Now, if you have a solution that caters for 9 people, one way of doing it, what I would probably do is probably build the solution for 9 people and then look into why my solution does not satisfy the other people. And then what they want or what they expect that would help them to actually fix the solution, I would then start incorporating that into my initial solution. Do you understand? So that's why I say design thinking is an iterative process. You keep learning, because once you've spoken to the other 21 people, right? Let's say out of that 21, 5 have their own uniqueness about them. And there are certain things that they expect to see inside the solution. You capture those requirements, you build it into your solution. Now you have what? 9 plus 5.
You have that 14.
14, very good. So you've solved the solution for 14 people. 14 out of 30 is what? 16. So it's not left for you to now figure out, how do I bring in this remaining 16 people? So it's iterative. That's how you scale the product at the end of the day. Because once you keep going like that, before you know it, you've built a solution that caters for all 30 people, that all 30 of them can use to accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish, either individually or as a group.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, okay. All right. So any more questions?
Nope, none from this end.
Then I think this is as good as a time for us to call it a day.